Welcome back to Family Anchors. Today, we're going to talk about empowering your future. And I'm going to talk about the importance of doing inner child work. What is inner child work? Inner child work is working on the little you. The little you is the one that didn't get some of the things they needed in their childhood, and you, as the adult, gives the little child what they need. And not placing those burdens on your partner, your friends, other people that come into your life, because that burden is a heavy burden. If your parents couldn't give you those things, you can't have the expectations that your friends, your partner, your spouse give you, or your children. It's impossible. So what does that look like? So something you can do is just think about 2 or 3 things that you really desired as a child and didn't get. And so something that I've always wanted as a little child is that I wanted this emotional understanding. I wanted to go beyond just the surface of emotions, and I didn't get that. And it wasn't because my parents weren't great parents or they didn't understand me. It's just that that was their block. We always have limits as human beings. And so throughout my life, I did put that burden on other people because I didn't do my inner child work. So when I desired this emotional understanding and to go deep, one of the things I started doing is when I needed that, I started showing up for the little kid in me as the adult, giving the little girl what she needed. And what did that look like? That might have looked like journaling. That might have looked like getting on my yoga mat or going outside and having a discussion with nature and really sitting with the younger me, envisioning the younger me next to me and just really listening to her and really thinking about what she needs in that moment and how can I hear her and how can I really hold this space for her emotional thoughts and where they were going and not think she's crazy. So when you can start doing inner child work, it really expands your view. It really gives your past self, your younger you, the opportunity to be young and not to grow up fast. So through inner child work, you really pour into those buckets that weren't poured into for whatever reason, right? And as you start doing that, then you really take the burden off your family members, like your friends, your spouse, your partner, and even the burden off your parents of that resentment because they couldn't show up. And you start really balancing things out in your life. So once you can do that, then you are starting to fill the buckets up in your own life and not thinking that other people need to fill those buckets. So as you start doing inner child work, you just become more expansive. You're not becoming limited. And then what you can do is just envision yourself living the life you desire, right? What is the future you see? What do you want things to look like? What might have gotten in the way, or what is starting to get in the way for you to really get to the place that you desire? And when you start seeing the future self, right, then you start imagining what's there, what's not there. Why are those things not there, right? So when I think about where I want to be in the future, I think about what I see, right? What I smell, what I hear, what are some of the sounds that are happening. So my future, something that I envision is land, water, animals, fresh smells of vegetables, fruits, flowers, herbs, right? It's not sounds of a city and buses and trains and planes. It really is the sounds of nature. That's something that I envision. So for me, when I see that and how I can empower my future, but how I can empower my present is, how do I work towards that future? What's in there? So I see in my future self is harmony. And so one of the things I want you to do is just sit with yourself for 5 or 10 minutes, turn off the notifications on your phone, be in a quiet place and visualize your future. What do you see? What do you smell? What's going on? What do you want? How do you want to live? And it's not like, oh, I just want money, but getting very descriptive in what you want your future to look like, so that as you see your future, then you can start deducting or start adding to how you can get there. So if I want a future of peace and harmony, how can I find harmony within myself? What are the things that are causing disharmony, right? What are the things that are causing imbalance in my life? And how am I contributing to that? And how do I get rid of it? Or how do I find harmony within myself so then that vibration can go out? So the way to empower your future is to envision your future. Everything you want it to sound like, see, feel like, hear like, sound like, see, look like, and just feel, right? And so then you trust that. And as you trust that, then you can start living into that. So the way that you can start doing those things, as you do that, as you're doing your inner work, and as you visualize your future, you can empower your future. And then as you do that, you can really start understanding the energies from your family, right? That can predict your future, and you get to choose how you want to show up. So if your future does not align with your family system's themes, then guess what? There may be guilt and shame in what you desire. So for me, I came back to where my parents are from, and that was something that my parents wanted me to think twice about. But I was being called to come back here. I was being called to create a space of harmony around like planting, like vegetables and fruits and just being on the land. And so even though my parents went to do something that was somewhat not a part of the family system, me coming back for them was not something that they thought that I should do. And I really needed to, because there was a part of me that needed to connect with my family system to get some understanding in the themes of my family system and to learn more about why I do what I do. You don't have to go back to where your family's from to get that, but to be intentional in that. And when you're intentional in that, you can learn the ingredients that have been passed down from generation to generation, so you can understand your family system and how and why they move. So just visualize, do your inner child work, visualize the future that you desire and what ingredients and what variables are in that future, and then start working back of how you can start doing those things and understanding there may be some uncomfortable ingredients or some ingredients in that recipe to your future that you may not be comfortable with. You may have to cut out some key components or understand some of those key components that doesn't make you feel good or that kind of brings out the shadow you into present moment that you're not ready to do, and that's okay. But understand, in order to get you to your future and empower your future, you got to do that work. There are some times we have to do heavy work and do some heavy lifting, and it's hard, but I'm sorry, you're made for it. If it's put in your lap, you can do it, and you can ask for help. And if you don't want to do it, then that's fine. You always have choices, but understand, if there's a future that you desire and the thing that's in between your future and where you are now is something that's hard and heavy, then you got to put yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what are you fearful of? What are you scared of? Why don't you want to come and really confront this obstacle and understand it a little bit better? But that may be a part of your family system and why they can't be or get to a level of success that they want and they desire. So if you want to learn more about family anchors and interested about the program, I want you to click below and just put in your email and fill out the questionnaire. And I look forward to seeing you in the program. Be well, be amazing, and most of all, be you.